Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Chelsea Rundown, episode 47 for the Dolphins women's firsts and premiering the Dolphins women's seconds. Also, the men's fourths, all for round 4. I'm joined by Liesl. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Also joining us is Ace. How you doing, buddy?
Every day's a good day.
Indeed it is. Opening music by Tony Herdman, going to run on Spotify. First up this week, Women's Regional South, Chelsea versus Pakenham White. Liesl, please take me through that lineup.
For our twos, we had Narelle starting at shortstop. We had Cassidy at centre field, Kate behind the dish, Michelle on the hill, Alicia at right field, Emily at third base, Jodie at first base, Abby at left field, Cassie at second, and Sam as an extra hitter.
Excellent work. What were the highlights of the game, please?
There were some pretty amazing plays and at-bats by some of our girls. I think the Pakenham team that they were playing against is a development team, so their pitching was a little bit loopy, not quite as flat, so some of our girls had to work really hard in the batter's box to make contact and hit the ball hard, which they absolutely did. There were some triples, some doubles, and some amazing plays.
Excellent work. And Kate's new. This is Kate's first season, is it not?
I played with her for the first time last summer, and I believe it is her debut to catching this season.
Fantastic. It looks like she's going very well indeed. What was the final score on the game, please?
So the final score was 18-3.
Very good. All right, then let's get on through to the Golden Flipper, shall we? Liesl, whom was nominee 1 for the women's seconds, please?
Nominee number 1 is Emily for her line drive double play. It was amazing. I was watching that game actually, and it was a super hard hit line drive straight back at her, which she effortlessly caught and then went and stepped on her base, which got the second out.
It was a fantastic double play. Great work there. What about nominee 2, please?
So nominee number 2 was for Cassidy for her triple that she got. I've played with Cassidy for quite a few years now, and this was the best hit I've ever seen her get. She is absolutely lightning speed around the bases, so definitely a triple for her would have been a close single for me. But no, she's incredible. She works super, super hard every game and definitely deserved that triple.
I reckon the Pixels were having trouble keeping up with her then. Might be the refresh rate, but she did, to your testament, she was absolutely a blur out there, and I think most of us would have trouble keeping up with her.
Yeah, she puts us all to shame.
Excellent work. And whom, please, was nominee 3 this week?
So nominee 3 was Michelle for tagging the runner out at home. I believe it was a close play at home, flicked to Michelle from Kate, and it was an easy play for them to get that runner sliding into home. I think both Michelle and Kate only have 1 season under their bat, so it was great heads up and great teamwork between the two of them to get that play.
All right, then let's roll on through to game 2, which is Chelsea's women's first versus Port Melbourne. Liesl, could you please take me through the lineup?
So our lineup was Kate Wines leading us off, starting in centre field, myself batting second, starting on the hill, Isabeau at shortstop, Jess catching, Liv at first base, Bron at second base, Eliza in right field, Sam in left, Mel at third, and Jodie was bench for us.
Excellent work, Jodie. It was a fine effort. I was there on the sidelines watching. She did some great work later in the game, but take me through the highlights, please, Liesl.
So we had some amazing catches. It certainly makes my job on the hill super, super easy having such an outstanding field behind me. First inning was, I think I threw about 5 pitches and everybody got a catch that inning. There was one from Mel, one from Bo, and one from Kate in centre field.
Probably the most important thing that hasn't gotten mentioned, and I'm sure Liesl probably doesn't want to throw herself under the spotlight, but the fact that she threw 3 innings, pitched 3 strikeouts, 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 earned runs. Absolute stellar job, Liesl. We knew you had it in you. We've seen you pitch up at the men's, and it's good to see you taking that form back down to the ladies and absolutely dominating down there. So hats off to you. Great job.
Thank you. It certainly makes it easy when I've got such a strong team behind me. I just feel super confident throwing up there, and as having Jess behind the dish, of course, guiding me keeps me super relaxed. So it's credit to the team, 100%.
Yeah, look, when you're looking through the stats there and you're racking up 18 hits, 14 RBIs, 4 walks, you know, it's obvious to see that you girls are absolutely dominating. Kate Wines up there, 5 plate appearances, 4 hits, big Bronny Basher down there. She collected 3 as well. So stellar effort by the girls. You're just going out there and absolutely dominating with the tin in hand.
They're an absolute force. It's a pleasure to play with them all.
Nice work, Lisa. What was the final score in that one, please?
The final score was 19-2.
That is quite the thrashing. Excellent work. Now, let's focus in, shall we, on the Golden Flipper noms for the game. Liesl, whom, please, was number 1?
So nominee 1 was Kate's catch in centre field. So it was the first out for the first inning, and she hauled ass to get there. I honestly was not expecting her to get that at all. It was, I think, smack dab between Sam in left field and Kate in centre, and like a shot, the shot of a gun, she was there and caught it and didn't look like she was missing it at all.
It was a fantastic play. Whom was play number 2, please?
So nomination 2 went to Bron for her smashing double. She cracked one past shortstop into left field, scoring myself and Bo as 2 RBIs.
Fantastic work, Bron. Nominee 3, please, Liesl.
So nominee 3 was also done in the first inning. It was Mel's catch at third base. So it was a pop fly straight to her, and she didn't look like she was missing it for a second. She's a super solid third baseman, and she catches things like that all the time.
Those ones can be quite deceptive when they go high. Sometimes think the higher it is, the easier it is because you got heaps of time. But sometimes the more time you have, the harder the catch is. Sometimes you prefer them just coming at you like a rocket. You just put the glove up and just put it in. But stellar job on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my second season playing with Mel, but she's absolutely reliable at third base as always, and stellar person to play with.
Great effort. Ladies, all right, Ace, that brings us on into our game, mate. Who are we up against this week, please?
We had a bit of a stellar clash with Upway Ferntree Gully, who we've had a few run-ins with in the past, and I won't say run-ins in physical ways, but they've usually had the wood over us. But it was nice. A day out there on Sunday, the sun was out, the skies were blue, and we managed to have a cracking game of baseball.
Who was in that cracking game of baseball, mate?
Yeah, pretty standard for this season. Shane Fisher, Jess, your lovely wife, Big Nico, the Greek freak, myself, Davey Fisher, or Frank Farmer, the gut stopper, Teabagger yourself, number 6. Loving your efforts down there this season. You've been absolutely stellar. Razzle Dazzle, AJ, or as I like to call him, Apple Juice. Big Humbies, welcome back, Humbies. I like to say it every week now. And Lucas Carey.
And a special note to Daz re-entering the nominations for getting hit pitch ball week in, week out.
Yeah, the dugout went up in theirs when we saw him finally cop another pitch, because I thought, oh, geez, maybe this is the season he's not going to cop too many. But it was great to see him cop another one, and he takes them just like he takes all the others.
That he does, mate. What were the highlights from the game?
Probably can't go too much further past our 2 starting pitchers, Humbles and AJ, or Big Apple Juice, who did an absolute stellar job on the mound. They sort of had command all day. We were a little bit worried with Humbles. It looked like he maybe only had 6 CCs for the day. And Humbles did tell me to give a big shout out to Ugly. Ugly, you're off the team, mate. Pack your bags, move out. Humbles is done with you. But not me, Uggs. You're always welcome back in my book. I love having you out there. No, look, other than that, it was pretty stellar effort by all of us, and we've been doing the same thing sort of in the field all year, and just sort of really dominating sort of our fielding and being a defensive team first and foremost. And so far, we haven't really relinquished a lot of runs when it comes to batting, And that's a lot of big shout out to the Fishers. They're both bulletproof out there, our outfielders, people like yourself. Even myself over at third base had a pretty good day. Great to see Jess out in centre field. I know she's been anchoring to have a bit of an outfielder's gig, and she did stellar out there as well. Just that decision making and sort of the poise and the positioning. Just the credit to her and how she plays the game. And then in the batter's box, look, it was a bit of a slow slog, I'll say that for the most part. But we did just keep putting runs on, and we just kept scoring. It was slow and steady. And at the end of the day, that was enough to win the game.
It was an enjoyable game. What was the final score, please?
Yeah, 10-2 in this one. Like I said, it was sort of a bit back and forth. I think it was 3-2 at one stage, and then slowly we just kept creeping. And like I said, with Big Juice, he came on as our relief pitcher. He threw an absolute stellar game. I think he would have had a no-hitter if maybe some third baseman didn't try to backhand some ball hit past him. But anyway, I'm sure that third baseman, let's not mention names, will probably learn from this, and maybe we'll get behind the ball. Maybe he'll probably start wearing a box, because he won't be so worried about his hoolies getting squashed.
Excellent, mate. I'm sure that wasn't the Golden Flipper nomination, but whom, please, was nominee 1?
Yeah, probably can't go much further than Mighty Mouse himself, Shane Fisher, the fish behind the dish, who and probably actually the real nomination is Super Coach Riley Fisher, the savant of baseball, who just obviously has been putting in a lot of time and sort of reads the game probably a little bit better than his father or his uncle, and sort of was able to expel a few hints and tips, and obviously those hints and tips resulted in his father, who's not much of a baseballer, managing to get behind one, put one over the fence. So first nomination goes to Riley Fisher. No, it goes to Shane Fisher. Good on you, Shane. It's a big hit. I love hitting dingers. And second nomination, part 2 of that one, goes out to yourself, Riley Fisher. Thanks for watching.
Great work, Riley. It's fantastic to hear you and your father talking in-depth analysis on the bench each and every game. It's a highlight for me. Ace, whom was highlight number 2 for the Golden Flipper this week?
Just probably going to give this one to myself. Why not? We might call myself Babe Ruth, the sweet Bambino. And look, I might have even taken a few tips from young Riley Fisher as well. He sort of indicated that maybe I was getting a little bit too far beyond the ball. So, sort of went up with that in mind, and was able to sort of lean back on one and crack it over right field. Looked like it maybe went over, but ultimately the outfielder called it as a stand-up double. So you'll take those, especially if you can get some runners across the line. Unfortunately, on this one I couldn't, but I'm sure these hits will start paying off in the end.
Absolutely, mate. Your hitting is going from strength to strength. Nominee 3, please.
This one playbut in a bit of an underrated play, but Davey Fisher, Frank Farmer. I think he actually had to book a ticket to try and go and get this ball on a aeroplane. It was hit that far away from him, but he absolutely tracked it down. And not only the track down, once he fielded it, the ball dragged him so far across second base to have the poise and stand up and to make the throw over to first was an absolute stellar effort. And, it's just things like this that the Fishers have brought to us in baseball that sort of really sort of show how in depth and how ingrained they are with it. But I mean, you just look at that highlight there. He's throwing that ball from behind Nico at second base, and that's how far he had to get across just to balance himself up. And when a ball's pulling you that far, to try and square your arm up, it's an absolute stellar effort, Davey Fisher. Love your work.
Not only that, mate, but have a look here on the replay, just as it bounces up over the pitcher's mound. Like, I couldn't even read that. That's such a bizarre hop. It took off the pitcher's mound. He did a fantastic job to track it down. Great work, Dave. That's it for the Golden Flippers. Let's now look backwards at the women's results for the past weekend. Liesl, how did we look out there?
I'm happy to say that our seconds had their first win against Pakenham with a smashing score of 18-3, and our firsts were 19-2 against Port Melbourne.
Excellent work, Ace. How did the men's results look?
Yeah, looking a bit like we've been sort of facing most weeks, a little bit of mixed up and down. Mornington, we know they're a pretty good side. So the first, unfortunately, had a 6-12 loss. Our twos, who are playing pretty well, had a 13-2 win. Our threes and fours are continuing their domination. Obviously, the threes had an 18-1 win. We had a 10-2 win. And unfortunately, the fifths had a 4-11 defeat. But we know Cheltenham are a pretty solid side.
That they are. Liesl, looking forward to this upcoming weekend. Where are the women playing, please?
So our firsts are going to be at Melbourne at 1:30, and our seconds 11 a.m. versus Berwick at Berwick.
Ace, mate, where are the men at this weekend?
Yeah, so our ones and twos, they're up in Doncaster. You might have to book your early flights for that one. I don't even know where Doncaster is. I couldn't spell it if I tried. But the ones are playing at 4 p.m. The twos are playing at 1:30. And luckily this weekend just happens to be landing on the long weekend. Our threes and fours both managed to pull the bye, which means AC might be having a few too many drinks this weekend. A couple of shandies. Don't mind it if I do. Maybe I'll head on down to watch one of the other games. And our fifths versus Mulgrave / Berwick at home, 1:30. Maybe that's the place to spend your Sunday teabagger. So come on, let's get down there.
I'll actually be going bye-bye back home to Geelong for the weekend, for the long weekend myself. I won't be there, but good luck. All seniors teams this weekend and the juniors as well. Why not? Ace, thank you very much for co-hosting with me this week, mate. Excellent work as always.
Mate, the pod always swims strongest together.
And Liesl, fantastic to have you back with us.
Thank you.